everyone, it's Vicky. I hope you're all doing well. Today I'm going to show you how I made this birthday card. Again, I will be using some Altenew layering stamps. So this is the Hope set. It does, as always, have the layering guide on the back if you need that, and I do refer to it a couple of times. But first thing I'm going to do is take the main stamp. So this is the chunkiest one, that's the background to it all. So I'm going to stamp this in my lightest ink. I am using my Misty for precision with this. And I decided to use the blues because I really like the pale blue. That's my entire reason for deciding to do them in blue. I like the pale blue. So I'm just loading that up and I will stamp that out. I'm a great believer in double layering with some of this. I think a lot of the reason this does actually come out looking quite textured. It looks almost velvety when you get it up close. And I think that is to do with the texture of the cardstock. This is stamping card, but it's not the slightly shinier Nina that I normally use. This is some hunky dory one. But it does give it a really nice texture actually, so I'm not going to knock it. So the first thing I'm going to do is build up my main flower. So once I've done that first big image, I'm going to move on to stamp number 2, and these are all numbered. As long as you don't lose them off the sheet, they are numbered, so it's nice and easy to see which one comes where. And so I'm going to position that on there. As you can see, I'm just taking my time, making sure I get it right. I don't want it to mess up. And I'm going to take the second shade of blue from this Altenew set. I do love these little blocks of ink. They're just a really nice side, especially when you're doing stamps like this. And it's a great way to get a nice collection of colours. And as I say, they do in each set a light, a medium, a dark, and then a very dark. So you do have the colours that you would need to build up a set like this. So again, clean off your stamps when you've used them, people. I did give these all a proper good clean down after I finished making the card, but just for speed, I'm just quickly wiping them down for now. And I did give them a proper clean there. Then it is on to the third option in this one. So again, just spend some time and get it to line up. I don't know if you see, I do have my guide to the right hand side. You just can't see it because the door of my Misty is just slightly in the way. But I am using that guide just to make sure. It just helps work out which way around to put it. And then you can kind of work out which petal needs to line up where with it, which is quite nice and handy. I am slightly obsessed with layering stamps and the florals at the minute. Florals aren't something I used to do very much, but I found that they just look so pretty with these layering stamps. I'm kind of a bit obsessed and have to do them. But you know, I think everyone goes through phases with their card making, so I am still doing quite a lot of my cutesy cards as well. I'm trying to just experiment and have a bit more range to them as well. You know, everyone needs a different kind of a stamp. Everyone needs a different kind of a card for different occasions and different people and things, so it's good to build up your set of skills and how you want to particularly make them, so you can make those individual cards for people. And then that's just the next layer going on with the next shade of ink. Get that pressed in. I did debate putting some leaves on this, but I decided that I didn't want to. In the end, I decided I wanted to keep it very just kind of with the one set of colours. So I'm just going to clean that off and move it out of the way. I did get out my yellows to do the centre of the little flower where the stamens will be. So what I did was I actually took one shade of the yellow ink, and you'll see me here, and I'm just going to stamp that in. And then rather than stamp the second image, so there are 2 images for the centre of this, for the stamens. Is stamens the right word? Yeah, stamens the right word. For the stamens, the centre of the flower where the pollen would be, I actually decided instead to get my Copic out and just do little dots instead. I just wanted to kind of change it up a little bit, and I kind of wanted to see what they would look like, and they do look really good. Because sometimes I found when I've previously did that little bit, it didn't quite go the way I wanted. So next stage is to finish off the background. So I've done my focal flower. I am going to grab my other magnet out of my mini Misty as well, just so I've got extra pressure to hold that paper down, because I am putting it into the middle of the page. so that I can stamp going off the edge, because otherwise it looks a little bit weird. So what I'm doing is I'm taking the lighter shade of blue again, and I'm taking that big statement piece of the stamp set, so the first one that we put down that gives you the shape of the flower, and what I'm doing is I am just stamping that to make a background on the piece. So it's literally getting stamped. I'm going to pick it up, I'm going to rotate it, and just basically tessellate it so that it fits in nicely. I did have to move my paper around, because obviously if it's going to be going off the edge of the paper, you don't want it to also be going off the edge of your stamping platform, because that's just awkward and not very helpful when you're trying to do it. So bear with us while I try and get that to stamp the way that I want it to. So again, it's all just about how you want it to look. I could have put these closer together and got a few more on there probably, but I decided that I didn't want to do that. I decided that I wanted to make sure that it was quite evenly spaced out, so there was some room around the images. I didn't want them too close together. I wanted them to show as individual flowers. I didn't want them to be in the distance, but I do love the way that this card actually turns out. I am really pleased with it. If you watched my previous, well, actually it's not a previous video, I have another video that will be coming up. I've recorded it and it's all queued to go in next month, and once you watch the video you'll understand why. But I do have another way of doing a kind of similar technique but not exactly the same, so keep your eyes peeled next month for that one. This is based off something similar that I saw Jennifer Maguire do on one of hers, just ways to create backgrounds with your stamps that normally would be your focal piece. And it's a really nice way to get a nice, it's quite a flat card when I finish it. It's nothing too deep, which is good, because obviously we are still at the stage where we're having to post everything, because if you're not in the UK you won't know this, but England is locked down again, so we can't go out. I can't go and drop this through the recipient's door. Well, I could, but she lives quite far away, so I couldn't, because we're not allowed to travel very far either, even if we're just posting things through doors. So we are trusting Royal Mail to get all our cards to everyone for us. So I did knock my camera thing there. I do apologise everybody for the little bit of a rocky shakiness that you just got there. So as you can see, just turning it makes it fit into these spaces, which is nice. I did debate using the lightest yellow ink and doing the centres in them, but I decided I actually quite liked it where the centres were missing from them. I thought it just added that little bit of extra. Well, it didn't add anything extra. I just think the yellow would have distracted from the fact that they were the background points to this. I just thought it looked nicer this way. So that's that done. And then that is us almost done. But that is the full background done. So that is the main body of my card. As you can see, if you have a look, it does look slightly textured. So I'm taking this Gina K Designs. It's actually the original Wreath Builder stamp set, and the sentiments on here are beautiful. It has some really lovely sentiments. I did put my sentiment down and pick it up, and then thought, oh, actually I want to make sure it's 100% straight. So I did bring my T-ruler in and just try and do a bit of extra lining up onto that, and work out exactly how high it was. As you can see, I'm a bit clumsy, so I managed to lift it as I was trying to position it, which didn't really help. And I'm just using some archival black ink for this. I find it gives a really nice crisp image, and it stamps nicely over the top of my inks from Altenew, so that they work nicely together. I'm just going to pop that into the corner. I did debate putting it onto a sentiment strip or raising it on a circle, but I decided I actually quite liked it where it was just stamped in there. I ummed and ahed about it a lot. So it's a 6x6 card blank, which is actually slightly smaller than 6x6 because it goes off the envelope size. I've got a piece of glitter cardstock, which is just a fraction smaller. And then obviously my background is a fraction smaller again, just so I have some nice little borders. I'm using quite a bit of wet glue. Obviously, if you're sticking onto glitter cardstock, you need to make sure you have a good, strong adhesive, because glitter cardstock does take that little bit of extra effort to get things pressed down nicely onto it. I don't know if you can really see it as much on the video, but it is actually a slightly like ice blue glitter cardstock rather than just plain silver as well, so that looks extra nice when you get up close. It kind of pulls out the blue in the background, and the background pulls out the blue in the glitter cardstock. Again, I am making sure there's plenty of glue on to stick this onto my card blank. So I'm just going to line that up nicely and get that into position, and then that is my card done. Obviously it's just a case of waiting for everything to dry. I've taken to weighing everything down with my Misty just to make sure it really is nice and firmly pressed down. And that is the finished card. I do hope you've enjoyed the video, and obviously if you have, please do like. Any comments would as always be greatly appreciated, and if you have enjoyed the channel and you're new to us and you don't yet subscribe, I would obviously love it if you would subscribe and watch more of my videos. Thanks guys, bye.